Hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell here with a look at the 2026 Golden Globe Awards. As you can tell, I am back on the road as I said that I would be last week. And before I get into the awards, I just want to thank everybody who left a comment, who reached out after I talked about my family situation on last week's Charts with Dan. It really has been a great reminder to know just how many people are open-hearted and just willing to support me during this time. And there's just a little bit more to go. You're going to see me on the road for this week's Charts with Dan, and I appreciate your patience on that. So let's jump into this year's Golden Globe Awards, which I have long called Hollywood's most unserious award show. This year, though, it seemed a little less unserious. Or I guess more serious. That's how grammar works. You may have watched the Golden Globes if you could find it on the Paramount Plus streaming app, which is where it was in addition to regular broadcast television. I myself could not, and it's such a good sign if you're David Ellison and you want to indicate that you can really handle taking on a big streaming service like HBO Max in addition to Paramount Plus if you can't even make one of the biggest award shows of the year findable on your app. Yikes. There are so many big moments and winners to recap, but there's one burning question that, as of this morning when I'm shooting the episode, has yet to be answered, and that is, who was the mustache man at the awards ceremony? He was there getting people on and off stage, directing traffic, blending in with every group of winners, just hanging out like he was one of the producers of the show. And yet, as of today, I have yet to find any information on who exactly he is. And it really is an indication of just how much social media, in particular Twitter/X, has changed over the last 10 years. If this was 2016, Mustache Guy would have had a hashtag by now. He'd be a meme. We'd know who his high school girlfriend is. And yet, somebody who played such a key role in the ceremony is still practically a mystery. I know he caught my eye throughout the entire ceremony, and I look forward to finding out just exactly who this Baba Booey looking guy was. But Mustache Guy was not the star of the show. The star of the show was Nikki Glazer, who returned as the host. I thought that she was good, maybe not quite as good as last year, but she had some pretty sharp jokes. My favorite was actually kind of a follow-up joke. She told a standard Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriends are young joke, but then she followed that up with a joke about how she only made that joke because nobody else knows anything about Leonardo DiCaprio.
We don't know anything else about you, man. Like, there's nothing else. Like, open up. I'm serious.
And you know, when you think about it, that's true, because I thought about it and I said, yeah, that is the only thing I know about Leonardo DiCaprio. So I thought that was some pretty sharp joke writing and a way to take kind of a tired and cliche joke and make something fresh out of it. One thing that I didn't think was as fresh were the awards show announcers who would just kind of yammer on while the winners are making their way on stage, like they were doing their own podcasts, like Pattercast. That just didn't really work for me. And it didn't help that all of the award winners came on stage to a playlist that sounded like what I assume the playlist at my 25th anniversary high school reunion would sound like. It just didn't really fit. You didn't use any of the music from the movies. You didn't really pick any songs that had any cultural cachet at the moment outside of one or two. There were some things that I think could have used improvement. I know the Golden Globes are going through a transformation. They're on CBS and Paramount Plus now. They're not with the same production company. The Hollywood Foreign Press doesn't exist anymore. But I don't think that some of those changes worked out very well this year. The first award of the night was for Best Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture, and it went to Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. I said this last year after Zoe Saldana's win, but the Golden Globes often feel like kind of a dry run for the Academy Awards for people to see what a winner's speech might look like. And I have to say that Teyana Taylor had a pretty good standard emotional award show speech. It is interesting to me that she has come out as the frontrunner in this category so strongly, not because I didn't think that she was good in One Battle After Another, but she didn't seem like, to me, the runaway winner. I actually thought that Sean Penn came out of that movie as the lead contender for Best Supporting Actor, and that has turned out not to be the case, which just goes to show you that you never really know what's going to happen on the awards circuit. One Battle After Another led all movies and tied Adolescence for the most overall awards last night with 4. It really does seem to be barnstorming its way to the Best Picture Academy Award, although there have been frontrunners before that didn't make it all the way to the Oscar stage at the end of the night. I thought at the Globes that One Battle After Another's biggest competition might be Sinners, but Sinners only came away with 2 awards last night. One of them was for cinematic and box office achievement, which I don't think the Globes can even explain what that award really means. I guess I'm happy that it was eligible. Ryan Coogler thanked the audience for showing up, which I guess is a key component of the award. But to me, it was further proof that this is an award that the Golden Globes have for movies that they like, but don't feel are fancy enough to give the big awards to, because Sinners did not win Best Picture Drama. And when you look back at now the three winners of the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award, Barbie, Wicked, and now Sinners, this seems like an escape hatch for the organization to award perhaps a genre film, but still keep the air of prestige. They don't want to sully themselves by giving those movies the big awards. And that's what I was worried it was when they started the award. I think that's what it's proving to be. I guess it's nice, to award a movie that did well. But if that's how you're going to use the category, then I'd rather that it didn't exist at all. Now, you may be sitting at home saying, wait a minute, Dan, Sinners won 2 awards. I watched the show last night, and Cinematic and Box Office Achievement was the only award I saw it win. Well, we're both correct, because the other award that Sinners won was for Best Original Score for composer Ludwig Göransson, but that award was given off the air. The video was uploaded to the YouTube channel, and they announced that it had won coming back from a commercial break. Didn't even show a clip from Ludwig Göransson's acceptance speech.
I also want to take a little moment to just thank our incredible cast.
But it was decided by the Golden Globes that it would be presented off air because there just wasn't enough time on the telecast. And watching it back, I guess that's kind of obvious, because they had to clear up time in the broadcast for things like the Best Stand-Up Comedy Performance Award, which went to Ricky Gervais for the second time. The award has only been given for 3 years. That award was accepted on his behalf by Wanda Sykes, who thanked God and the trans community, which is, I think, kind of funny given Ricky Gervais's history. I think he would actually find that funny myself. The Stand-Up Comedy Award, like I said, has gone to Ricky Gervais 2 out of the last 3 years, and I guess there's sort of like thank you awards to him for being a host of the show, but I don't think you have to make up a whole category for that. Just every time that Ricky Gervais does a stand-up special, give him an honorary Golden Globe and move on, because it doesn't seem like the awards organization is taking this category very seriously either. They also had to make room for the inaugural Best Podcast Award, which was presented by Snoop Dogg. That award went to Good Hang with Amy Poehler, and it should be noted that of all the categories last night on the Golden Globe Awards, the only one that had clips with sound during the ceremony was for the Best Podcast category. Giving an award for a podcast at the Golden Globes feels to me like giving an award for a movie at the Grammys or giving an acting award at the ESPYs. There may be some tangential crossover that you could justify, but it just doesn't seem to fit. And when you are cutting other categories that do have to do directly with film in your movie and TV award show in order to make room for this, I just don't get the point. I get you're trying to stay relevant, but there are awards for podcasts and for things on the internet. The Webbies, the Streamies, the Poddies. I'm sure is there a Poddy award? Poddie, if you have a dirty mind out there. There have to be so many different organizations that give podcast awards. I don't see why the Golden Globes did it. And again, if you're looking to expand your audience, you gave your award to the most Hollywood out of all the podcasts. So what audience are you expanding there to begin with? Also, don't forget that they had to make time to give the betting odds for various categories via Polymarket, because in today's world, everything is sponsored by gambling. Polymarket, DraftKings, you name it. It seems like every video, every TV show, every sporting event is sponsored by gambling. Not this channel. This channel will never be sponsored by gambling, but it seems like just about everything else will be. So Sinners being relegated to the box office category means that one battle after another picked up awards for Best Screenplay for a Motion Picture. I like that Paul Thomas Anderson kind of acknowledged that screenwriters steal lines and steal little bits and put them all together in addition to writing new material. Paul Thomas Anderson also won Best Director, and one battle after another won the Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy category. And I love that Judd Apatow, in presenting the award to Paul Thomas Anderson for Best Director, called out the Golden Golden Globes for the fact that his genuine comedy, Trainwreck, lost the Best Comedy Award to The Martian, which was really one of the bigger examples in this new era of category fraud. I know that I've talked about it so many times before, but it's good to know that Judd Apatow is simpatico with me in that we are never going to stop calling out this ridiculous distinction between what is a comedy and what isn't a comedy.
I can't wait till later tonight when Best Comedy is won by Hamnet.
There were some wins that weren't massive surprises. Stellan Skarsgård won the award for Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture for Sentimental Value. He gave a speech about how cinema should be seen in cinemas, and it was what I expect from the Golden Globes, which was that it was kind of a loose, freewheeling speech. It seemed like he may have had a couple drinks. That's what the Golden Globes is about, and we didn't get a whole lot of that this year. And Best Supporting Actor, I think, is going to be nuts this year because it's been set up as this battle between Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn, and yet Jacob Elordi won the Critics' Choice Award. Stellan Skarsgård won the Golden Globe. I think it is going to be one of the most unpredictable categories throughout award season all year. Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters won the Best Original Song Award, no surprise there, and it was a very emotional speech from one of the writers of the song, although you could tell that her co-writer was just itching to jump in and talk. K-pop Demon Hunters also won for Best Animated Motion Picture, and it was a nice speech, but did you notice during the speech, right in the middle, that some smoke or probably somebody's vape came drifting up into the picture? Now, usually this would trigger some kind of Benoit Blanc type deduction for me over who it was, but let's be honest. The two most probable culprits were seated right next to each other, and who are we kidding here? It was Sean Penn. Only one person in Hollywood that I can think of would care so little that he would just blast a vape right during somebody's awards speech, knowing that he is in view of the camera, front and center. It was 100% Sean Penn. Jessie Buckley won the Best Actress in a Drama Award for Hamnet, no surprise there. I like that she thanked the grip who was making soup on set. Timothée Chalamet picked up a Golden Globe for Marty Supreme as Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. It was a pretty standard thanks and I'm grateful speech. And the thing about this win in particular is a lot of times because the Golden Globes is subdivided into the drama and musical or comedy categories, somebody will win, but they won't necessarily be up against a lot of their potential competition at the Academy Awards because they're in kind of the other batch of movies. But Timothée Chalamet was actually up against a lot of his potential Oscar competition. So the fact that he did win the Golden Globe, to me, says this could actually be Timmy's year. I mean, there's a long road to go, but I think that he is emerging as the frontrunner in what at the beginning of the season still looked like a pretty competitive race. I don't think he'll ever be installed as the favorite, but I think that he could be called the frontrunner. There were a few wins on the movie side that did surprise me. Hamnet won for Best Motion Picture Drama. I actually thought that that would go to either Sinners or The Secret Agent. Don Cheadle crashed George Clooney's presentation of that award, and I liked the banter between those two, especially the fact that Clooney tried to flex that he had won at the Golden Globes before, and then Don Cheadle reminded everyone about just how long it's been since he was a Golden Globes winner.
30 years old. He was 3 the last time you won.
We've got a lot more to break down about the Golden Globes, but before we do, I want to thank the sponsor for this week's episode, AG1. It's a new year, which for a lot of people means a new focus on ways to improve, but the truth is there isn't a right or wrong time to get healthier. There's just right now. And AG1 is one way that you can start prioritizing yourself and your health. Anyone who's tried to meaningfully change their habits can tell you that it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. I know I've struggled with that in the past. AG1 helps you simplify your nutrition in one scoop that contains a multivitamin, pre- and probiotic, superfoods, and antioxidants. One scoop in 8 ounces of water and you're done in 20 seconds. And AG1's next-gen formula has added more vitamins and minerals than ever. I've used AG1 for quite a while, and they have helped me shake things up recently by introducing some new flavors. You not only have original, you also have tropical, citrus, and berry. And for me, when I'm doing something every day, variety really helps to keep me on track. AG1 now provides that variety, and they also gave me some travel packs that I can use when I'm on the road, like I am right now. AG1 has over 50,000 verified 5-star reviews and comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Go to drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell to get their best offer. For a limited time only, get a free AG1 duffel bag and free AG1 welcome kit with your first subscription order only while supplies last. That's drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell, drinkag1.com/Dan Murrell. The Secret Agent won Best Film Not in the English Language. Not really a surprise to me, just that is a brutal category. So honestly, anybody who wins in that category is going to surprise me. It was interesting to me that the orchestra, for the first and only time of the night, played off the winner of the award, the director of that film. And it really was a microcosm for what that show was last night, because they played off the director of the Best Foreign Film or International Film winner. And then it went to a bunch of dead air. Then they introduced 2 UFC fighters to like plug that Paramount Plus is the home of UFC now, but they didn't tell anybody who they were. The UFC fighters walked out on stage for like 5 seconds, left. Everybody was confused. And then they transitioned awkwardly into the next award. That to me is pretty definitive of the Paramount Plus era at the Golden Globes. Wagner Moura won the Best Actor in a Drama Award for The Secret Agent. That was a little surprising to me, although he's great in the movie. He also got to dance with Coleman Domingo. That would be fun. I'd like to do that. And Rose Byrne won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Now, I have to say, first of all, that Rose Byrne is fantastic in that film. That is a richly deserved award. But it's also an example of just how loosely defined the musical or comedy categories are at the Golden Globes. Because If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is, I mean, I guess it's the kind of comedy that maybe you would laugh while you were weeping or like hysterically shaking kind of movie. It's one of the most stress-inducing films that I saw in 2025. But I guess technically you could kind of define it as a comedy. And hey, Rose Byrne has a Golden Globe because of it, and that's why they do it. Overall, one battle after another led all the movie winners with 4 wins, followed by K-pop Demon Hunters, Sinners, The Secret Agent, and Hamnet with 2 wins apiece. Sentimental Value, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, and Marty Supreme all came away with 1 win. Of the movies that were nominated for 3 or more awards and didn't win anything, Frankenstein led the way with 5 nominations and no wins. Wicked for Good also had 5 nominations and no wins. It Was Just an Accident came away empty-handed on 4 nominations. Begonia won nothing, getting 3 nominations, and No Other Choice also with nothing despite 3 nominations. The Golden Globes don't just celebrate the best in film, they also celebrate the best in television. And that side of the ceremony, I think, was a little less surprising. More of the frontrunners won those awards. Adolescence led all TV shows with 4 wins, including Best Supporting Actor in a TV Series for Owen Cooper, still richly deserved. Best Supporting Actress in a TV Series for Erin Doherty. Best Actor in a Limited Series TV or Movie, which was won by Stephen Graham. And I love that of all the stars that were sitting out in the audience, Stephen Graham gave a shout out to Queen Latifah specifically.
None of this is possible. So, Queen Latifah, wow, can't believe it.
And I have to say that I felt a little vindicated by that, because I remember sitting in a room with my friends in the, I don't know, I'd say mid-2000s. We were watching something on TV, and I made the comment that I thought that Queen Latifah was a beautiful woman. And I was roundly criticized for those remarks. I think that Queen Latifah was beautiful in the mid-2000s. She's beautiful now. And I love that Golden Globe winner Stephen Graham felt that in that room of A-list celebs, she was the one who deserved recognition. You go, Stephen Graham. Adolescence also won the award for Best Limited Series, Anthology, or TV Movie, so a clean sweep for them there. In its first year of Golden Globes eligibility, The Pit picked up a couple major awards. Best Actor in a TV Series Drama for Noah Wyle, and Best TV Series Drama. And I love that the crew, including Noah Wyle and John Wells, who were going up to accept the award, got hugs from George Clooney on the way up, because for Clooney, he's looking at like half his ER team going up to win for their new show about doctors in a hospital that he's not part of. So, you know, he could have been petty about that, but he wasn't. He was like, yeah, awesome, bros, go get it. The studio picked up the same 2 awards in its first year of eligibility. It won for Best Actor in a TV Series, Musical, or Comedy for Seth Rogen, which, and I think Seth Rogen mentioned this in his speech, it must have been surreal to have written the Golden Globes into your show. Like, there's a whole episode that happens at the Golden Globes. They staged it, I think, in the same room where the Golden Globes actually happen. And then you win a couple of them in real life. Nobody's really done the Sal Saperstein bit. I think that Rogen said he thought it would be tired, but I think it would have been fun at the Golden Globes specifically. It was also a rare time when Ted Sarandos got a non-Netflix shout out because the studio is on Apple TV Plus, but he was in that episode, I believe, of the show, and Seth Rogen thanked him as a guest star. The studio also won for Best TV Series Musical or Comedy. I'm glad that Seth Rogen thanked a lot of his crew people by name. Jean Smart, As Is Written, won the Best Actress in a TV Series Musical or Comedy for Hacks. She was escorted to the stage by George Clooney. That's not bad company. Michelle Williams won for Best Actress in a Limited Series TV or Movie for Dying for Sex. She was not present to accept her award. And Ray Seahorn won for Best Actress in a TV Series Drama for Pluribus. I liked, first of all, that she gave a shout out to Kookaroo. She said to Queen Latifah that she had met Queen Latifah at Kookaroo many years before and that Queen Latifah was nice. That's just a reminder, if you're a celebrity, you should always be nice because you never know when you're going to be presenting an award to somebody who served you at a fast food chain. And if you don't know what Kookaroo is, I don't think that they exist, or I think they might be trying to make a comeback in California. It was a chain of restaurants that dealt only in broiled chicken. So it was a chicken restaurant, but you could only get it broiled. I was never a huge fan of Kookaroo. When I heard that they were going out of business, I wasn't entirely shocked because, I didn't think it was very good. But there were a band of diehard Kookaroo loyalists, and apparently some of you may have been served by Ray Seahorn at some point. Also, this is a fun little thing here. They gave Ray Seahorn an award for Pluribus. It's a buzzy new show. She got to go up and have her moment. I think that she's very delightful when she's making speeches because it's very much not her thing. But I think the Golden Globes also wants us to forget, in giving Ray Seahorn this award for Pluribus, that the Golden Globes not only did not give Ray Seahorn an award for Better Call Saul, the Golden Globes never even nominated Ray Seahorn for Better Call Saul. So while I applaud the fact that they did give her an award, I'm not going to jump on this train of the Golden Globes saying like, look how great Ray Seahorn is. No. I will never forget the fact that we were all saying that to you, Golden Globes, and you didn't listen. You didn't listen to a single one of us that were talking about how great Ray Seahorn was in Better Call Saul. So you don't get to jump on the train now and pretend like you've been riding all along. I'm glad that you recognize the work that she's doing now, but I will never forget the fact that you completely ignored one of the best performances in any TV show ever. And that goes for all the awards bodies that never nominated or gave her anything. You can jump on the train now, and I think this may be the start of a lot of Ray Seahorn love for Pluribus, but you will never be allowed to forget the Ray Seahorn apathy when it came to Better Call Saul. Hashtag never forget that particular thing. Not just hashtag never forget, because there's too much tied up into that. Overall, Adolescence won 4 awards, which was leading all other shows last night, with The Studio and The Pit both winning 2, Hacks, Dying for Sex, and Pluribus all walking away with 1 award. Of TV shows with 3 or more nominations and no wins, The White Lotus had 6 nominations, no wins, continuing, I think, something that happened with the Emmys. Only Murders in the Building had 4 nominations with no wins. Severance, also 4 nominations and no wins. And The Bear, The Beast in Me, Black Mirror, and Nobody Wants This, all walking away with 3 nominations and no wins. And there were a lot of really fun things on the show last night, but I do think it left something to be desired, and I think that they actually left the most compelling thing that they could have done on the table last night because of all the winners and all the moments that I just talked about. We saw during the show cutaways to David Zaslav, Ted Sarandos, and David Ellison. All 3 of them were there, and as you know, they are embroiled in a saga over who is going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. So you had the decision makers of all 3 companies there. What they should have done is had David Zaslav come out on stage. He brings up Ted Sarandos and David Ellison, and he gets a pool cue. He can do this because The Dark Knight is a Warner Brothers movie. He snaps the pool cue in half, and he says, "So you both want to buy my studio? Well, tonight we're going to have tryouts." And then you settle it on stage. Whoever's left standing, that's who gets Warner Brothers Discovery. Is it a little Hunger Games? Yes, it is very much, but the world is a little Hunger Games right now. And can you imagine the ratings if that's how we had decided who was going to get one of the biggest studios of all time? At least you would have had to fight hard for it. But alas, the Golden Globes did not do that. Instead, we got a bunch of award winners, some predictable and some not. But what did you think of the awards last night? Did you like the winners? Were there some that you wish had won but didn't win? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching me here on the channel. I'll be back here on the road with Charts with Dan tomorrow. Then I'll be in the studio for a bit, and then I'll be on the road for a bit in less than 2 weeks to cover the Sundance Film Festival in Park City. So you're going to get very familiar with the inside of my rental condo in Utah. But we've got a little bit of studio time between now and then. As always, be sure to hit the subscribe button, share this video if you liked it, leave a comment, do all the things that YouTube likes to help this video reach even more people. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.